Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chance's Chat and Friends. And of course, I am Doc G. We have Chance's with us, Chance McFadden, and Fascinating Brian, and whoever else is going to join us. Also, this is for entertainment purposes only, but it also may not be. This is for Chance's Chat. Go ahead, Chance, and welcome, everybody.
Hey, guys. How are you? We're going to have a good show tonight. We did a little pre-show thing about what we're going to talk about. Thumbs up to the Ninja Turtle background. I don't even know where my background is, my Flying V background. I got to go in there and find that. But anyway, this is going to be a show tonight about awareness. Now, I know we see Doc G on here every week, and sometimes he has a few things to say, and most of the time he doesn't. But Doc G, most of the time you come on here, you're looking tired. That's because you're busy running things. Well, it's the truth, dang it.
Like you, brother. Same thing as you, you know.
I know. I always look like an unmade bed. You know, I wish I was pretty like somebody else. Anyway, Doc G, tell us what is going on at Hamilton Radio. Tell us what services you're offering, and tell us about how long you've been in business, and then I'm going to add about some of the exposure. Okay, so go ahead.
Sure. Well, we've been in the business about 31 years. Ran a radio studio for about 10 years. Our live studio settings is for movies and green screen, audio books, and then a little bit of here and there at different things. If anybody wants the details, I can send them to their email. We do a lot by Zoom. We also do a lot of audio promotions and different things like that. We do cinematography, videography, video editing. We do audio editing, music videos, movie productions. I mentioned green screen, internet broadcasting, of course, audio book recordings for people that are the author of the book and are like, I want to read my own book. And people are like, no, we don't want you to read. No, we want you to read your own book because you have the emotion that you put into the book when you wrote it. So you know how it should be. Commercials, documentaries, and we do script readings as well now for movie scripts. People that want to do that, we can do that in our location if you're around our area. We do Bible study, and we do business events. If people want to, instead of renting out a hall, just use us. We'll be more than glad to host your event, whether it's food or whatever it is. But yeah, we do all that stuff, and you can find all this stuff to it. IronHorseFilms.net, IronHorseFilms.net, and that's my co-partner Ruben. We're doing an event this weekend, Let East, in Parsippany, with all the oldies guys from the Duprees, the Capri's, and a bunch of other oldies bands like the Tokens. We are filming the event. We are selling the music from the event, the DVDs, and we'll be interviewing some of the people from that event after it's done too. So it's really, really cool, this part of entertainment, because we can provide something that a lot of others don't want to do. Whether it's because it's a lot of money or they're not a lot of money, or it's because they just don't want to pay. But it's also, you hire honest, reliable people with integrity that know what they're doing, then it makes it a fun project for everybody. Ted, your questions?
Okay, well, let me ask you something. How many news shows, since I've been on the air, how many news shows have you picked up since since I've been on the air. And guys, take into consideration I've been on this show, on this channel, on this network for 2.5 years now.
We got a
Two and a
couple
half.
new shows starting. The one new show is actually something that people that in history would love. It's like it's called 250 and Counting. It's by two history professors, and they send me a little audio link of what they're saying about it, and then I just pop it in and play it. But it plays throughout the day. Every day has a special commitment to whatever happened in history on that day, which is really cool. No other radio station's doing this, I don't believe, but we are the first in doing it, and we love to do that. We love doing things like that. There's a couple other shows I'm doing too with other people, of course, Anne with the life patches, and Lillian. We just got done her show at 7 o'clock, which was a very, very successful, phenomenal show where they explain and go through in detail, what the patches can do and how it's helped so many people with the patches. That's one show that's called Discussing the Patches, and we may change the title of that. There's a couple other shows that'll be coming up very soon. We're working out the details with them. So we're always changing, we're always fresh, and we're always trying to get on that cutting edge. Now, I mentioned to you earlier, too, about AI. It's really interesting with AI because they do not want AI on the commercial radio station. They don't want AI on the internet radio station. Well, AI has been enhancing things for a long time, guys. It's not just people going in there and going, here, write something. Because you can do that, but usually it's a load of crap. When you tell it what you want it to do, it does. So, in a way, we're creating or producing what we want to produce. It doesn't mean that I tell it what I want it. I mean, I tell it significantly in detail. I want this sound. I want that sound. I want this to come in and that to come in. That's producing music. That's the difference between using AI as a tool and creating something, or just using AI, as crazy. That's kind of where we're at. But Hamilton Radio is dedicated to playing the music artists. So whether it's AI induced or creative induced, we still play it. I just want everybody to know that.
That's interesting. I will tell you that, and I'm going to tell everybody at the same time. It says underneath my name there, it says, could this be our last show? It could be. It could be the last show that we handle geopolitical and financial stuff, because we're that close. Okay. Now Brian's got some stuff to tell you about awareness. And I think this is a very important information. But before we get into that, I want you all to be aware of what is going on right now. This is some intel where the movie meets reality. The movie is quickly coming to an end. It is merging with our reality. And if you think it's not, I've gotten too many reports this week from Chicago. I got reports from New Orleans. I got reports from Atlanta. I got reports from Philadelphia. And I got reports from Chicago. That, you know how Pritzker said Trump stay out of Illinois and all this, stay out of Chicago and all that? Oh, no. Trump tripled down. They're in Chicago yesterday, and they were kicking butt, and has no authority because he's not the governor. He's an actor wearing a mask. Okay, that's part of the movie. But where it meets reality is Trump has actually sent troops in. We've gotten reports. I've got all kinds of friends in Chicago, and I got all kinds of things going on. Then my contacts in Chicago had a friend in Minnesota, Michigan, friend in Michigan. And he told me 2 nights ago that everything is going crazy in Atlanta and New Orleans. Okay. And then today I heard my phone just absolutely went nuts today. It went nuts. Philadelphia has got some things going on. Now, when I say things are going on, I'm going to explain to you just exactly what it is. Is somebody going to report about it on the evening news? No. Did the city councilman get arrested? No, they're not going to report that. Because the mainstream media is going to do its best to keep everything in their story, okay? Which is fiction. Their story is fiction. When you understand that people are just disappearing, husbands and wives are just not going home after work. People go out to the fast food place to get a burger and they're not coming back. This is how it's happening. This is how it's going. Okay? There's nothing that's going to make a big hubbub. Oh, did you? I could have swore I saw 2 or 3 cops or something over there, and they hauled some guy out of the house, and then everything disappeared, and it was over 2 minutes. Well, it was over 2 minutes. So what? How should anybody pay attention to that? Oh, it was probably somebody had a parking ticket warrant or something like that. You know how people talk, but that's not it. This is just the beginning. Okay, this is just the beginning. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next after Chicago because I got this on the QT last night. You ready for this? People wanting news in Europe. People wanting news in Australia. People wanting news in New Zealand. United Kingdom. Here we go. As soon as Chicago's done, more troops are going to Canada. And not just one province. In fact, I heard they are positioned now to do the strike as soon as they get the heads up that they got things done in Chicago. Bam, they're going to hit right immediately. I don't care if it basically was said, even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, if they get the call, they go. All of the National Guardsmen, according to my source, have not only had the status of being in the National Guard, but they have been deputized. Think about that. How many National Guardsmen, real true National Guardsmen who are patriots, hang out with other patriots? A lot of them. They know who the good old boys are. And why deputize the National Guard? Ooh, think about that. Think about that for just a second. I'll tell you why. Do you have an idea, Brian? Because it's good.
All I know is a telling story would be if you see them being escorted by police cars. I'm just saying.
Okay. That's true. But let me explain to you more about being a deputy. As a National Guardsman, they only get called out during times of emergency, and during times of emergency, a deputy can deputize other individuals to be deputies. What's that bring in? That bring in all the National Guard patriots, good old boy buddies, and they're all gun-toting rednecks for the most part. Depends the part of the country, of course, but they're all gun-toting patriots. They believe in the country. They believe in the Constitution. And that's huge that these people have been deputized. Now, After Canada comes Australia and New Zealand. After New Zealand comes the United Kingdom, and after that, I don't know. Now, because of the demographics, Australia to New Zealand, maybe it's at the same time. I don't know. Now, this is information from Wyatt. I'm not going to give you the actual intel from the intake officer until the end of the show, but this information is directly from Wyatt. He said they are putting up in select locations in Australia 40-foot containers, shipping containers, that have been modified into a tellerless bank. And what they are called is, you ready for this? From what I understood, they're called wealth management centers. And if they're doing them in Australia, then they got to be doing a couple or 3 or 4 in New Zealand. And I don't have anybody in the United Kingdom to tell me anything. So if you are in the UK and you could get some pictures, Wyatt sent me some pictures. And I was going to post them on the Telegram page, but something happened with my computer today, and I'm going to get personal now. I went in to pull up Wyatt's pictures, and they literally disappeared on me while I was trying to do something. And then my email shut down. My email shut down. Okay.
Yeah, you could say monitored, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You think? So anyway, they said, well, you're gonna have to buy more storage. You're gonna have to buy more storage. So after reluctantly spending 2 or 3 hours cleaning out emails, and I was doing a really good job. I cleaned out the trash. I cleaned out all the different files except for the main input channels. Okay, I mean the main, my main channel where all not the promotion stuff, not the commercials, not the spam. Okay. Then all of a sudden, guess what happened? My first 4,000 or 5,000 emails just gone. And then I looked again, and it was like 28,000 emails gone. And yes, I haven't cleaned my email box out in probably 5 years. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get Wyatt. I want to before I can tell people about the trust schedule. I'm going to have to go back and read it again because I may have lost it. You need to send it to me again so I can refresh myself. I have been inundated this week with not only losing my emails and my pictures, but I've been inundated with people calling with foreclosures and IRS problems. And I've got a new IRS letter. Okay, it's time for a cheap promotion. Pat myself on the back promotion. Time for a cheap promotion. I have written a very strong IRS letter that holds nothing back. Okay, with new information that a lot of people don't have. If you're having trouble with the IRS, get a hold of me at chancemusic@yahoo.com. And you pay $100 consultation fee, and I will give you this letter. And it's very short. It's very sweet. It gets right to the point. And we've had really, really good success with the other IRS letters, which basically ask for an audit. Well, this goes way past that. We're asking you to get the F out of my way. And here's why. Okay? So this is why you need this new IRS letter. Okay? And then I've got another letter that I will be composing Sunday or Monday. I've got new facts about mortgages. I've got a whole presentation that I'm going to present, and that will be for people who have got judgments that have lost, a summary judgment or have lost a decision on their, and all the judges are on the take. Okay, so there's a process. There's a process. If you're having a house repossessed, you're going to need to know all the facts that I have, and you're also going to need to know what documents to file and to who to send them to. And I spent a good hour with a lady today, and I was I was tired. I needed a nap bad. Either that or I need a gallon of coffee or something. But we we talked for an hour, and I finally had to let her go, and I said, "This is all you need." And so she's going to get her paperwork together. But all this paperwork is doing is buying time, because we are going to be in the transitional period until we're not. And guess when the transitional period speeds up to our final RV destination? And that is, it started today. The rest of the intel is coming at the end of the show. Okay. Now, I gave you a lot. I gave you a lot to chew on, a lot to think about. The Boulevard is a home run. Don't worry about it. I've got a rate. And, somebody's at
Them bullets are freaking loud, dude. So Brian, while we're waiting for Chance to come back, what's been going on in your life?
Well, actually, I will say this. I felt last week on the show, and I, as an observer, I felt invisible. Even though I asked Chance, I was like, "Did you mean not to send me?" And was I meant to not be remembered? And then I was also searching through the chat box. I'm like, "Oh, someone's going to bring me up. I'm sure of it. Someone will bring me up." No one brought me up, and I was like fascinated by the full experience. Like, it's like, did I leave? Did I jump another timeline? I was like, is this the collective saying, "Yeah, go. You can go now. Enjoy the rest of your journey." So that's kind of like how I felt. And again, nothing negative, whatsoever. I just found it super interesting because it carried on as if, I was the greatest illusion. So I was like, it's like, okay. It's like, well,
Brian, I'm just going to go ahead and tell everybody the truth. Folks, Brian is an AI program. I created him. And he kind of went astray because he was supposed to be my yes man. And instead, he kind of took on his own identity. So,
yeah.
And I tried to delete your program, Brian, but it didn't work.
Yeah, now I come back with this clever backdrop. Someone asked me, is it like green for go? No, I'm a big kid, okay? Just like everyone else. You have your favorite things. Ninja Turtles is one of my favorite ideas that I've always cherished since I was a kid. So it always, raised my vibration. But just to shift gears, so we wanted to promote, really good things and things of like great changes that are coming, which is true from an energetic statement. But at the same time, I also would like to promote awareness, like great awareness with preparedness. As you have already surmised, and we can say this over and over again, the way the light and dark play is for keeps. Think about that for a second. The dark play for keeps. The light play for keeps too. In order for transition, whichever scale is gonna win, so to speak, they have to topple everything. So if the light is going to win, we have to topple everything of the dark. They're never going to quit until the very last entity that is foreseeable on the surface is completely removed. Again, they just because they may change their sides, which some do, they're still going to be monitored, right? They're still going to be monitored. Just because they change the sides doesn't mean they change their skin color, so to speak. Just they're doing it out of survival. Does that mean they get a free pass later on? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It depends on the severity and the nefariousness. They do not get a free pass. They very well just get life, right? Comfortable. We're not talking like mansion comfortable. We're just talking about a comfortable cubby and maybe some cable. Who knows? But shifting from that idea, there's been a lot of weird ideas that have been going around, and I'm sure many of you've heard it, seen it about Texas and its ice cream truck affair or marathon. Who drives ice cream trucks super late at night, right? Super late after midnight too, and blares music in the neighborhoods. So what that tells me that there's a couple of ideas. They're out of, how would I say, organic assets, meaning people that like to go take late night walks or, very obscured areas. They're looking, they're analyzing. That is one idea. Okay. So that is a potential fishing aspect. So they're trying to fish, or they try and entice, again, kids to come get the ice cream out and late at night with ill supervisable or supervised parents, which can happen. And again, I'm not promoting fear, I'm promoting awareness. Another idea that kind of came to mind is also kind of MK Ultra, because there could be embedded frequencies, and they're seeing if through these lower frequencies behind the music, certain people get activated, don't know what the hell they're doing, and they just happen to walk out, and then they just go away. We don't know how it's done. It's just how it is. So we kind of have to circle back, as again, we're trying to promote, making sure you stay sovereign, healthy, and you're aware of what goes on. You're going to have to pay attention to your food again. I'm sorry, I hate to say this too, especially coffee. We got a lot of coffee lovers. If you love coffee, you better buy no name brands. You better look for brands that are very, how should I say, smaller companies. So that way you're less likely to get a very broad spectrum of whatever's taking place within the product. So we need to really change how we look, especially if you feel like you're getting sick. A lot of people have been getting sick. A lot of people getting sick at restaurants too. So you're going to have to be very observant at this current juncture, because they do not quit. They are trying to force people to exit. Our grandparents, our parents especially, much faster. They're accelerating. Are they succeeding? I don't know. All I know is what they are exceeding is there's a lot more people paying attention now. And they're using the, not mainstream media, just the alternative media. YouTube, Rumble, they're sharing. Some of these people are even following these people, which is pretty brazen, pretty brave of them to do that, especially ice cream truck people. But again, the idea is to be safe. The idea is if you see something, call the police. That's out of place. No truck should be blaring music at 2 a.m. in the morning. It's out of place. It's weird. Super weird. And you got to make sure you know your neighborhood and know that there's no characters that are predators also. So hopefully everyone is aware of their surroundings. Shifting another type of fear, I've also noticed, and I had to talk with Chance, that you may be feeling energetically like jumping beans. We are jumping everywhere when it comes to shifting multidimensionally through timelines. Yes, I know that sounds kind of far-fetched, sounds too sci-fi-ish, but we are. We are shifting in ways that it's just unforeseeable to the next and the next idea. But the best part about all these things and their changes, because everything is accelerating, if you can imagine, there's a lot of ideas that are no longer on the table. One idea that's no longer on the table is the Agenda 21. Okay? They don't get to have the World War III. They don't get to have a lot of these ideas. Heck, we may not even see a Project Bluebeam come into motion because all these ideas are slowly being peeled back off the onion and saying, nope, you're out of time. Nope, your window of opportunity was this. Nope, sorry. So we shift collectively because we feel that we no longer need these ideas in order to move forward. And from an interstellar perspective, there's a lot of rumors of other ideas, and not really hesitant to bring it up, but I'm like, something called arcs, something to think about if you're a starseed, where there's supposed to be ships that are activating, which have to do with some formula of an ascension, some formula of transition. What that is, I don't know. That's something everyone else is going to have to research. But if these,
Brian, if you want to
yeah,
research that, Brian, if you want to research that, look up in the sky. Watch the cloud formations. The cloud formations are all over the place. I have looked at clouds when I was a little kid, and I've always been a cloud watcher to look for the shapes and everything. But Brian, you look at the arc shapes. You look at the spaceship, and you look at the cloud shapes, because I'm telling you, people with better photographic equipment are getting pictures through those clouds. And if you think that there's not an arc up there doing something, you're wrong. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry to interrupt.
no, I mean, you're right. But the question that people should be asking is the purpose. Like, what are they here for? Because they're not going anywhere, right? So there has to be some type of, and again, I'm trying to get the regular people to think about these things, or even the star seeds to kind of like think about, like, oh, maybe they're here for some type of transitional phase. And again, I'm not trying to limit your perception. I'm trying to expand upon your perception, like for each individual person to think about from their own personal journey, their own perspective. What is my ascension look like? What does it look like? If you could see yourself maybe going on one of these arcs. There is a lot of unknown elements. We know that there are a lot of highly intelligent and vibrational beings that are ready to see something that's really unknowable, because the problem down here is that everything from a non-free will, I'm going to say it again, non-free will and false light perspective, you've been taken for a joyride far too long. So that's all ending. So it's all ending. It's all going away. So when is it going to happen? Energetically, I will say very, very soon. And I'm adding double very. So, but from a projection of time, I can't tell you, but I know it's not a decade. I know it's not even half a decade. I'll tell you that. It could be a couple or even less years. Just something to think about from your perspective. It has nothing to do with the RV, just so you know, because those ideas pertain to a different frequency with a different formula for the human collective to grow more, play more, right? Still more of this tangible aspect, still more of like where you're wanting to problem solve, get a Shark Tank group together, come up with higher vibrational ideas and formulate and then put them into action and then see the results. So that's what this purpose of the RV and whatever the ideas of Nicera Jacera are. It's to create the new realm, so to speak, even though it already exists in the now moment. So again, let's, think and be these beautiful ideas and live them, of course, within our creations and within our heart space. And you're going to have that experience. You will. You just have to have that belief system. You have to have that spirit of the Christ Christos vibrating, shining brightly and going, it's done. I can see it. I can feel it. And it represents me to my core. So yeah, that's what I want to bring to the table. And, yeah, that's where we're at currently. All right, Chance.
Ryan, there's a lot more to this reset than just money, Republic, med beds, and safety for the children. There's a lot more to this. And you just kind of touched on a little bit about, let's just say, okay, I'm going to give you a scenario based on what Brian just said. Okay, here I am, 74 years old. I just got information that if you're over 70, you can go back as far as 50 years. Okay? And in the med bed. So let's say I go back to 24. Okay? And I do whatever I'm going to do, and I progress, and I do my humanitarian things, and I watch the world change around me, and I'm all excited because I get to be part of that change, and I'm following God's plan and everything like that. What happens if I go in the med bed 5 or 10 times and I start getting bored? Because we're living in a utopia. I've helped fix everything with other humanitarians like myself, and I'm starting to get bored. What's next? What's next? We've already created heaven on earth. What's next? What's next for me?
You leave the solar system.
That's the ark that'll be floating around up there, and I'll just say, hey, I'm ready to go. Let's go do the next thing. Whatever that next thing is, let's go do it, as long as it's positive. Okay, so there's more to this than just the obvious: the RV, the med beds, the kids, and the Republic. I'm going to show everybody. This is a computer drawn picture from a photograph of my Megan. She is sleeping on her pillow, and that was sent to me by a lovely lady. Her name escapes me at the moment. When you talk to 50 people a day, you have a tendency to forget names. But there's my Megan, and I like to think of her sleeping like that, or playing in a field with all the other heavenly dogs, and just having fun and having all the steak she wants, or chicken, or whatever she wants. And I subscribe to the all dogs go to heaven philosophy. And this picture, along with the 3D picture that Brian in Canada sent me, means so much to me. And I can almost feel her presence here with me. And we had, and talking about these groups having calls, Brian, you hit the nail on the head, because guess what? I got invited on one of those calls Tuesday night, and most of those people that were on that call, we were calling Dr. Will Dodd, and he can't talk, but he can hear, and he can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And we had a party line call with Dr. Will in the nursing home, and I informed him that he is my number 5 on the med bed list. So I got 4 family members, myself, and he is the number 5, because you get 5 people. So I've got Dr. Will. He's going in when I go in for my med bed appointment. He won't be far behind me. I've got all his information, where he's at. I'm in constant contact with his brother. We're going to get him in a med bed. Okay. And keep the prayers going for Dr. Will and for our sister Patricia in Florida. And last week I put on the chat 2 families that were in distress. Please go back and watch that. And all you have to do is look up my post. You don't have to scroll through everything. Just look up my post, and you'll find a little circle things that I do on my private Telegram page. Let's talk about my private Telegram page for a minute. Let's talk about me. No. That was me. I'm sorry. I slipped into narcissism land. I'm sorry. But I was laughing with the lady today, and she says, "Well, wasn't I talking to you last week?" I said, "Don't you know my voice by now? I've been on the air for 2.5 years. Yeah, I know your voice, but I just thought it was the phone being different." No, honey, listen. I don't know anything about crypto. I don't want to know anything about crypto. Brian is a crypto guy. You want to know about crypto? Have a consultation with Fascinating Brian. He knows about crypto. He knows all about it. Okay? There's your crypto guy. But I do not promote crypto. I do not talk about crypto. And I do not endorse crypto. Now, let me explain to you why I don't. Because, as Lynette Zhang says, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. That's it. What you own is what you hold. I had a guy at a music store over in Macomb said, "Hey, why don't you send over about 10 or 20 guitars over here, because you've got plenty, and let me sell them for you." And I said, "No, I can't do that." He says, "Well, why not?" He says, I could sell them. I said, "I'm sure you could, but that's not the point. If I don't hold them, they're not mine. Possession is 9/10 of the law. I can't afford to give you 10 guitars. So if you want to sell them from my website, I'll give you a commission. If you want to sell, FortMadisonGuitars.com. If you want to sell, I'll give you a commission. But otherwise, no. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. I don't do crypto. And this is what I'm getting to. There is like 8 or 10 fake Chance McFadden Telegram pages. You are aware of this, Brian. I think you've seen him. Haven't you? Oh my God! I'm thinking, am I such a big deal that I got to be cloned and imitated and
Yeah, it's a badge of honor.
As I say, badge of honor. Exactly.
Oh my God! I can't get over it. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, the celebrity Chance McFadden is now going to be cloned and imitated, and we will manipulate and steal from people because he's so damn popular.
Of course, what they'll do is when they do clone you, they'll fix the hairline. They'll make it obvious.
We'll get it fixed anyway. Yeah, well, you had to go there. You had to go with the drive-in screen. Okay. Hey, but listen. I'm going to tell you what. I'm talking about cheating a little bit. Okay. I'm talking about cheating. There is this salon in Burlington that got some very aggressive barbers that could do some incredible street cuts, and they do some incredible things with hair. And one of the things that I saw they did was, and I got plenty of hair to work with here, so we got no shortage of inventory here. Okay, but they cut your hair and lay it out on a strip, and they have this special tape, and they glue the hair to the tape, and then it just looks like a piece of something and it's the hair is coming down like this. Okay, so you don't see what's holding it on, you just see the hair. And I thought, hey, I could cheat into having a hairline. So I'm actually thinking about going up and doing that. But if it costs more than 56 cents, I'm in trouble. But it was a nice thought, But thanks for the drive-in screen mention there, Brian. It's always appreciated, yeah. Hey, let's answer some questions, okay? Mark Simpson from Sydney, Australia. Hey, what's up? Wyatt's here. Hey, what's happening, Wyatt? Glad to have you aboard. I will study those things and I will share them that you resent them to me. Thank you very much. My email went crazy. So, guys, if you think I've lost your email and we were talking about something, send me another email to chancemusic@yahoo.com, and I will. I'll try to get a little bit. Jeffrey says Trump, I heard, is an acronym for Republic Under Military Power. Ah, wouldn't that be nice? I like that. Thank you. Danny says, good evening. Kim says, hi from Boonda, Queensland, Australia. Bundaberg. All right. I love you guys in Australia. I'm going to come and spend some time there. Wyatt's coming to the United States. I'm going down under to see all the great bands down there, jam with them. Stony is in Alice Springs, Australia. Thank you, Stony. Quilter Debs says hi to Wyatt. Bernadette's here. Did Chance share the schedule for the trust yet, Wyatt? Not yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to do that probably day after tomorrow, because Wyatt, I need to read it again and get it in my head, and I will send it over to Bernadette and we'll put it up on the Telegram page. Bub Henman is here. He's a good friend of mine. Let's see, Jen's here. See if there's any other questions. Elaine's here from North Georgia. Ready with pen and paper? Man, have I given you a lot of stuff already? Go back to the first half hour, man. I gave you guys a ton of stuff. Martha. Hi, Martha. Hello and blessings to everyone here. Deanne Fluke Schmidt. Something about the new. Somebody wants me to say something about the new Madrid fault, pole shift, planet Nibiru. I don't know anything about planet Nibiru. That's Brian's department. But let me tell you about the Madrid fault and the pole shift. Okay, when it comes, it's going to come fast and furious, and you're not going to have any notice. There will be signs. There will be signs in the sky. If you're awake enough, you're going to see them. But keep in mind, there is a mass exodus from California and Washington State going on right now to get on this side of the San Andreas Fault, on our side, on the Iowa side. Of course, Denver and Colorado is loaded with liberals, so be careful there if you go into those areas. And don't think that the liberals still aren't active, because they're very, very much still active. Let's see. What's the drama today? The dot on my head is to open up my third eye, and Doc has just put up the debt clock. And usdebtclock.org. Very interesting. It's too small for me to read anything.
Oh, what about the secret window? What's the secret window have to say? Oh, there we go.
The end is just the beginning. Remember what I told you guys months ago about the song by the Nashville Teens called Tobacco Road? Bring dynamite and a crane, blow it up, start it all over again, build a town, be proud to show. Keep the name Tobacco Road. That was way back in the 60s. Guess what? Musicians were ahead of the game. They were ahead of all of you. They knew what was going on. The Trump assassination attempt where he got shot in the ear. Okay? Listen. Go and listen to the song For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. Okay? Another song by Buffalo Springfield to listen to apply to the movie is Mr. Soul. Go listen to Mr. Soul by Buffalo Springfield. Now, we have got so much going on that we could actually go 3 or 4 hours. But what we're trying to talk about now is we're trying to talk about dealing in the now. Brian doesn't want to do a 3 or 4 hour show, do you, Brian?
You'll hear me snort at some point.
Yeah. He's going to have coffee coming out of his nose pretty soon. And here's Ann Ziegenhorn, stem cell specialist, activation specialist from the lovely state of Florida. And she is my dear friend. And she is helping me help you get well.
Yes.
And here, look, Ann, I got it on the right spots today.
What's on your forehead? You got Alavita?
No, this is the AEON.
Oh, okay, the Eon.
Okay, that's
some
the
people
one you
say
told me.
Some people say Aeon, and some people say Eon. So it depends.
Okay, and then I'm not going to turn around, but I got 39 and 49 on my neck. Now,
Okay.
Testimony before you get started. Up until last week, man, did I have a hard time? If I slept on my left side, my left hip was so damn bad. I was just like, I almost needed a cane to walk. Not quite, but almost. The pain was just intense and like this, and just grabbing at me. And this week, it's just barely there.
Nice.
Okay? The pain is barely there. So if you guys are quitting these patches after a month or two, the only person you're doing a disservice to is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I am 74 years old, okay? For every 10 years of my life, I need to be 1 month on the patch. But I have had results because of my particular biology, my particular body chemistry, faster on other things. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at any of the old videos. Look at me, how I looked then. I get a kick out of asking people, do you have any idea how old I am? They usually say around 50, and that makes me feel real good. But what? You laughing about that? Hey, I shaved this
because your stash got darker, so yeah, you're compensating with the coloring, recoloring.
Yeah. But I'm not dyeing anything. But I could dye my hair and shave my facial hair off, and I'd look like I was 35. I swear to God, I could. But
we should dye your hair.
No, and I'll tell you what. You come up and see me, I'll let you dye my hair, okay? With your
Okay.
husband.
I will so tell Lillian that we're going.
Okay.
It'll be
remember, my husband's from Iowa. He would have no problem with me going.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Arthur Pullen asks a quick question. Can I use the same trust to open accounts at 2 or 3 different banks? Absolutely. You're just going to have to name them, the bank accounts, different names. Mm-hmm. So you could call Arthur's Trust 1, Arthur's Trust 2, Arthur's Trust 3. Even though you use the same trust account and EIN numbers, you can still do that. Yes. Okay. Go blonde. Oh, Roy, listen. 35 years ago, okay, Roy Be the Man says, go blonde, Chance. Listen, 35 years ago, I begged my wife, let me dye my hair blonde. Let me go to a salon and get my hair blonde. You know, and she says, hey, you look like an effing fool doing that. So, Roy, that's just going to make me go, okay. Now, here's the thing. Ann, you've got some news coming up, and I want to hear about the water, and I want to hear about some new testimonials. So it's all you, Ann.
Okay. Lillian is about to go catch a flight to come here. So she'll be with me all weekend. We have a health fair that we're doing. I'm waiting to see if I'm one of the senior directors that will be invited to get the water machine early. We don't know how they're doing it. They just know that there's some kind of situation where they're inviting so many people to get the water machine at different ranks and levels. They haven't hit senior directors yet. They're still on the executive directors, which is one level above you and I. So we'll see if you're going to get an invite. So you're going to have to watch your email to see if Live-8 sends you an invite when they do get to the senior directors. So that is special invite to get it early. Otherwise, the machine will be out in November. The first part of November is what they believe. And so they're getting all the glitches out by having every rank get their orders in. They're just making sure that all the ordering is going smoothly. So that's their way of testing it. So that's that about the water machine. The health fair is going to be a fun event. And Lily and I will do some Facebook Lives from there. Then we see different testimonies. So I have a friend who has been in a wheelchair since 2022 when he was in a car accident. And he started on the patches. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks exactly. And he had already been attempting to stand up. And with the help of his friends holding him, he was able to stand up and then short period and then sit down. Well, he did a Facebook Live 2 days ago. I believe it was 2 days ago. And he stood up for over a minute by himself. He got out of the chair by himself. He stood up and hovered. He's like, okay, I'm just waiting for this hand to stop shaking. And then the hand stopped shaking. And then he was like,
I saw that. That was great.
Yeah. So his wife was, telling him, because he'd be like, how's that? And she's like, good. And then I guess at one point he swayed back just a little and his knees were touching his wheelchair and he couldn't tell, but she goes, you're on the chair. And so then he leaned forward. He goes, is that better? And she's like, yes. And so it was just kind of neat to watch because he did it on his own and he stood there for well over a minute. It might've been a minute and a half. And then he was like, okay, I'm going. And he sat back down. But the smile on his face was just priceless. And he's just like, Ann, I feel something with these patches on. And it's like, I just want to hop out of the chair. And then because he had to have the railing to pull up on, he said, I just want to go take a step, but I got all this wood in my way. So I think it's going to get just, I know it's going to get better and better, but I was just surprised. I mean, 10, 11 days on the patches and he got up by himself. And then as he said, he's going to do another testimony this week or this weekend because he has another announcement, which I'm going to let him say. So my Facebook is public. It's Ann Gudson Ziegenhorn, and it has my little cartoon character because it's me about my breast implant stuff. So it's me holding a book, letting people know that I can help get their insurance to cover. So it's a little cartoon character of me. But it's ANNE. And then my maiden name is GUD as in dog, SON as in Nancy. So it's like Hudson River. It's Gudson though. So Gudson and then Ziegenhorn, ZIEGENHORN. So if you put on there to follow me, whenever I go live, it will prompt you that I'm going live. And then it could be Lily and I talking at the health fair, or we're talking to Cesar on the phone and he's going live to give his testimony. We're just super excited to be following his journey and that he allowed me to donate a set of patches to him to attempt them. And then he was researching. He was like, okay, I think I'm going to get this, this, and this. And then him and his wife are just super excited. And then she's going to start trying the patches as well. So we're happy about that. Other testimonies. I mean, I always have testimonies, but that one, is is a personal friend. So that was, kind of hit close to home. I mean, people are having great testimonies. And so there's just so many. That's why we have the Patching Global Testimonies group on Facebook. There's also a Telegram group. That's hard for me to say. Lillian's a pro at the Telegram thing. I'm the pro at Facebook. So Instagram just falls in there because my stuff posts to Instagram as well. And then I don't think either one of us are TikTokers. And now we have a TikTok, but I just forget to post there. And then if anybody has questions, the patches, I made a post that stated what I didn't feel with the patches. And I think it was good because here I am 2 years, 3 months exactly yesterday, 2 years and 3 months yesterday on the patches. And about 6 weeks ago, they had to lower my contact strength of my eyes. My eyes are getting better, but it took to the 2-year mark for my vision to start to improve. And that means it's going to continue to improve. So what I didn't feel was I didn't feel my hair growing faster. I didn't feel it starting to darken up back here where my daughter had to put dark back in my hair after I'd been completely white. I didn't feel my hands and feet wake up. They were already tingling and numb. That's part of the neuropathy sensation. It's just one day I noticed they weren't. And then I noticed I could feel heat. It just happened over time. I didn't feel my kidneys and my liver getting better. It just got better. I didn't feel my heart changing. I didn't feel my lungs changing, but they did. And my blood work proves it. I didn't feel my blood changing. So lots of things you don't feel. It doesn't mean it's not working. Matter of fact, all the scientific studies, double-blind studies, peer-reviewed studies prove, and including the patents, prove that the patches are working. And at the 6-week mark, everybody has a positive results that they had studied and tested. So whether you feel something happening or not, it doesn't mean that it's not working. You might not notice the evidence until later in time. Again, had I not still continued to be on the patches, I would have missed the blessing of my eyes getting better. And I can tell that they've changed already since then. So they must be getting better and better because I can actually pull this one contact out. And as long as this one's in, I see almost perfect. That was not the case before. If I put this one in, this one was super, super blurry. And this is actually my bad eye, just so y'all know. This is the damaged eye from when I was a little girl. I have scar tissue on it. And so they've always had to treat this eye differently. Matter of fact, if you saw glasses, this one's more like a Coke bottle, real thick lens. And then this was always my good eye. And because I think it's been trying so hard to see, I actually feel better with one contact in and this one out because I'm farsighted and I can see perfectly farsighted, but on screen, I can't see unless I have a contact in this eye. But I am farsighted naturally, so seeing out has always been fine for me. I can pull my contacts out and see out in the open, great. It's because of these screens up close and reading is why I need contacts. Oh.
And what could you bring us up to date on the Republic on your end from what you're experiencing as an activist in that?
Well, it's kind of just back to Mr. T's doing what he's got to do, and Governor DeSantis and Texas governor are working hard and diligently on getting the property taxes taken away, which those of us who have lived that way and did proper things, which again, this is going to go into probably sparking more questions, but that's okay. Bottom line is this: we should have all been living out in an ecclesiastical trust. We should not have been having a bank account in our personal name. It should be in your ministry or trust name. Once you have that opened, get the other bank accounts closed in your personal name. You in my humble opinion, what seems to work best has been making sure I had a passport in place. And then I did a disclaimer and turned in my DL as well as my voter registration, got rid of those because now I'm not in contract with this state for anything, the all capital corporation state. I am back on the land in the Republic, and I choose to live that way. And the matter of fact, the letter that Chance gave everybody for the IRS, spot on. I actually wrote 3 sentences 4 years ago. I wrote 3 sentences. It says, we just learned that the IRS taxes are volunteer. We choose not to participate. If you have any further questions, please let us know. And we sent that off. That's as simple it was. And I did it in my own handwriting. In equity, you try to do things in your own handwriting instead of typing. If it's something long, type it, but then always do something in your own handwriting, such as done in good faith, by, colon, and autograph it. Those are great little things to do just so you have something written in your own handwriting in equity. After you're living out of the trust, you're pretty much on the land and you're not in contract with the state for anything. And that's the key. And I wish instead of me doing circles and doing all these other paperwork things that I did for 2 years, I wish somebody would have just said, the trust is the very first thing you want to do. So Chance, the trust, the trust, the trust. You keep beating it in people's heads. They need to listen.
I'm doing the best I can. It says a lot, especially to the paymasters. It says that I am prepared to be a good steward to this gift of money that I'm going to be getting from the powers that be, the new powers that be. And that's all basically it. And if you're dragging your feet on it, and if you hear, okay, let's talk about that for a second, okay, Ann, because my contact in Minnesota told me his best friend and army buddy got liquid.
Oh.
Now,
real quick, while you're talking about that, I am babysitting. I don't know if he's showing in the picture. Can you see the dog? Where you at? Okay. Anyway, I'm babysitting him. He keeps whining because he needs to go potty. So we're going to walk downstairs while we're talking.
Okay, that's fine. And I hope everything comes out okay. I've been waiting 2 years to say that. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. This is one thing about listening to me on the radio. Okay, you never can tell what's going to come out of my mouth next because I have no restrictions. There's no break or stop or emergency stop, break or nothing inside of my head. I get diarrhea of the mouth and there it goes. Oh, there we go again.
I have faith that it will not do show and tell. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, we're not going to show. We're not going to give any physical examples. No. I got to answer this first. Will the fake Trump die and the real Trump rise during the EBS with John Jr.? He won't. The fake Trump won't die. He'll just disappear. Okay, and Trump is, from what the real Trump is very masterful. He's very in charge of things. And if you think by listening to, oh my gosh.
Well, plus we don't even know if the script is going to be actual. Like, what if they change the script? Trump, instead of saying, "Oh yeah, Trump got killed," what if they just say,
they've already
he got
changed it,
Well, what I'm saying is like this. There's a lot of projections, right? Whether it's through Futurama, Simpsons, and all these things.
Right.
There are a great many of them that don't come to full fruition, right? So they could just change it. Oh, he almost got assassinated again, and then he was in critical condition, or they'll say near death, or near exit, and then suddenly you see him, he's just looking like a flounder on a bed, and then they'll say like a week later, look at that, he's stronger than ever and, recovering great. And I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy in Minnesota went to the bank and I don't do rates and I don't do dates, but I will give you this. I won't give you an exact rate about what he got on the boulevard, but I'll give you this much. He got more than 40 cents. And he would have got dollar for dollar if he'd have went to a redemption center instead of a bank, because the bank made that spread. Okay? This is why we still can't trust banks. If you've got money in the bank, get it out. Okay? They're still failing right and left. You're not hearing about it. I'm hearing about it all the time. I got a guy out in California that literally does nothing but keeps track of this and calls me because I guess you'd call him a fanboy or something, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know I had fans. I just thought I had family. But when I start selling my CDs again, then I'll know you're my fan and not my family. Okay. So anyway, he's gone through. He's liquid, and he lived in this one neighborhood in Minnesota, and got liquid, got his turn, and one day was there. Next day, here comes a moving truck. Everything's gone. Where'd he go? We don't know. Left no forwarding address. And that's the way it should be. Okay? That's the way it should be. Because he's going to shut up for 91 days and he's going to be okay. But he still got screwed because the bank made the spread. Because under UCC, you're supposed to get dollar for dollar. Okay? And it will be a structured payout. Okay. I am also hearing high up sources. This is the month. September is the month for. Did my voice just break? For when it's time to change, it's time to change. Did my voice just crack?
No, it's fine. Please be aware he's talking about the bank. The bank. He went to the bank, not to an actual health management center or anything like that. All right. You can continue.
And they're loving him. You know, they might as well just painted an all-day sucker on his head and send him home. But anyway, let's talk about, so he's liquid. You're going to be liquid very, very soon. But wait your turn. Don't go running to the bank, and don't be a sucker and take over 35 cents when you can get $1. Okay? And it'll be structured payout. We can handle that. How long are you going to live? How much interest do you want to make? I mean, it's all up to you. You're going to be now in charge of your life. Okay? So, but the money is so minimal. It's minimal compared to what we're going to be able to accomplish as humanitarians. And if you don't get that part, then you're not going to get Brian's talking about the ice cream trucks in low demand of a certain chemical that they need for the bad guys. And if you're noticing certain people on certain TV shows getting noticeably older by the day, that's because they're in short supply of their liquid
product.
Candy. Yeah, product. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go in here and look at some work. JFK Jr. and everyone is listening to this. I wouldn't be surprised. And I'll tell you why. Okay. I tried several times to get a hold of David Quigley, and I have sent some messages to JFK Jr. through a source, a little better than source. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Junior is, and he's, I had one guy call me and he says, man, you're all over the place. You can't finish nothing. You're talking about this and you skip over to that. And I said, yeah, I know, because that's the way my brain works. And if you don't like it, but let's talk about David Quigley for a minute. My opinion, and opinion only, based on timeline jumps, based on reality jumps, based on the Matrix, based on the fact that this house over here by the high school has disappeared 3 different times and reappeared, based on the fact that on the way to the nursing home to see my wife, the West Point water tower went from being 2.5 to 3 miles away to less than a half a mile away off of the road. And I don't imagine these things, okay? I'm a lot more aware and awake than a lot of people. And I'm not imagining this stuff. This house has disappeared 3 different times and reappeared. And this water tower was 2.5, 3 miles away off the side of the road, across from a White House. I could take you right to the spot. Now it's only about half a mile. How do things move like that? It's because our reality is shifting. And that's why I think David Quigley and JFK Jr. both could very possibly be JFK Jr. They could be twins. One could be a clone of the other. We don't know. And if you don't think there aren't clones, then you're full of bullshit. Okay? I'm telling you right now, when they did Dolly the sheep or whatever it was that they cloned and they made a big deal out of it and everything, big deal. The Nazis been doing that since 1941. Kent Dunn told you that 6 years ago. Okay, we've known that.
Yeah, but it's the math. Like, because we don't have the same math the ETs have. Yes. We don't understand timelines. We really don't. Until we get re-educated in a whole new format, we are not going to understand how it works. And just to kind of touch base real quick, two people asked 2 questions. One on the planet Nibiru. Okay? It's a giant ship. Okay? I'm just going to say it's a ship because that's what it is. It's the ship with the Anunnaki, right? It's their world, it's their realm. So let's think about it for a second. What do we know about it, or what do we not know about it? We know that it seems to always want to be in our solar system. So it could be that either it's a part of our solar system in a very large elliptical fashion, or they're here to see the show. And on the 3-eye atlas, okay, a lot of the people have been saying it's a ship. So what I'm hoping to do to give a very unique fashion on it is I'll do some affirmations, and when I go to sleep, I'll go say hello, see if I can bring back or pull some more information. And it's not so much as like, again, it's the same thing. There's just a lot of ships out there. We just don't get to see them the way we want to see them.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So they're here. It doesn't necessarily mean all are here to help. There is also data monitoring. They're monitoring. So because we're in a transitional time, not all aspects of creation are working hand in hand. They have the same goal, right? So like angelics, a higher source, they work within different gradients and fields, and they have a different concept, and maybe it's more ascension related of how they are showing with their mysticism, their technology, and maybe these lower dense ETs, again, benevolent, they're kind of here to see what that looks like. And again, but they share the common rule or common ground, which is we know how the math works. So it works, but not everyone understands its principles or how it comes about. So we're just kind of like in the wait and see. But I am curious because I hear that they're just more humans and that these are actually benevolent people here purposefully for a time of transition. Again, I don't know all details or aspects. All you can hope for is, and not so much as hope, just believe in your own walk of life and say, they're here to see, we're in it to win it, and that we've won. That's it. Like, we've won. So they're here to see what we want. Yeah.
I like that a lot. Wendy Walker, if you need help with something, send me an email at chancemusic@yahoo.com. Greg asked, was it Greg or Brian asked about what the name of the songs were? First of all, the Trump assassination song is it's Buffalo Springfield, and it's For What It's Worth. For What It's Worth. Something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Okay, that's that song. And if you want the Epstein Island song, rock and roll song, I'll even give you that. Try Jay Ferguson's Thunder Island. Okay, and if you want the far left transgender thing, try Lola by the Kinks. Okay, we drank champagne and danced all night under electric candlelight. I'm talking a good time, right? Okay, so this is why this show is going to change to a music show. Okay, when I get under an NDA, and if I get under an NDA and we haven't changed the format of the show yet, Wyatt is going to come on and host the show for me. He's had a lot of people wanting him to come back on, and I understand that. Wyatt has got his hands full. Okay, I love him like a brother, and I can't wait to meet him. And I would like to call him more. He usually ends up calling me, but I am so swamped with. It finally looked like the Cleavers moved in to my house. You know what I mean? The Cleavers. Remember the Cleavers, Beaver Cleavers, mom and dad? My house looks so good from the outside. Everything's trimmed up so nice. Everything's put away outside. I just said, wouldn't Wally and the Beef be so proud? So that's what I've been busy doing. And I was down mowing last night. I'm down at my daughter's house. It's getting done. Tim is working, my handyman. He's a live-in guy. So I really got wow, what a blessing that is. I don't even want to tell you. I don't want to tell you what a blessing that is. But he's been building walls and we're working on that. We have kind of changed gears now because we're so close. I'm going to be looking for another house for my daughter, and the house that we are remodeling now, the one that caught on fire, I'm going to move my nephew, who, oh God, I love this kid so much, and I don't hardly see him at all, and I'm just a bad uncle. But he's got some little babies, and I got to go over and kiss them and give them hugs and stuff, because I'm going to move his entire family over here to live in that big house. That's my plan, because Jeff is he's just like this. He's just like that. He's sharp as a tack. He's funny. And he does comedy shows too on the side. And he's just a McFadden. You know, he's a show off. He's a dedicated guy. I love him. And I hope he watches this show tonight, because then his head's gonna blow up like a great big balloon. The trust schedule is terms and conditions of the trust itself. Ladybug, I'll be posting Wyatt's trust schedule on the Telegram page. I'll try to do it tomorrow morning before I leave. I've really had a really busy day today, and I've gotten about 5,000 phone calls, it seems like. Let's see. Deanne Schmidt. Reverse mortgage is a financial event. It's done with fiat currency. It's illegal. It's unlawful. If you ever, and I could sit down with you and I could go through a reverse mortgage contract, and you're going to find out that you're losing about 70%. Okay? It's fraud. It's bank fraud. It's other banks working with other banks to commit bank fraud to steal your money and your assets. Somebody, Han Solo, says, do you like SRV, Chance? Well, I'm going to tell you what. I'll tell you how much I like SRV. Do you know his birthday? Do you know Stevie Ray's birthday? I'll tell you. It's October 3rd, 1954. Do you know when my birthday was? Is October 3rd, 1952. Okay. And yes, I have done shows where I went out and did a Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute. Okay. I have done Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute shows. Problem I had was I didn't have good enough backup musicians, and they didn't come off as good as they should have. I keep saying here on the show, and I don't really show you because I got to have everything right. I am a production nut. And if I'm going to perform, I'm going to tell you what, everything's going to be perfect. I'm going to have every knob dialed in. I'm going to have every guitar set up just right. And when I get up on that stage, I'm going to knock your socks off. And then I'm going to jump from the guitar to the piano or the B3. Okay. Or if that ain't making you happy, I'll run over and play some bass guitar. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm 74 years old. I've been playing out in public since I was 12. Now, if you don't think I haven't learned a thing or two by then, you're going to find out different. Okay. Bernadette has a copy of the schedule. Good. Thank you, Wyatt. I appreciate that. Who let the dogs out? Yeah, the dogs people have been going in and out here today. How do I structure a humanitarian project? Wendy, I'll be glad to help you with that. We'll do that post RV, and we'll have templates for it. And it'll be all through the Law Dogs. So 91 days after I go in, the Law Dogs will be ready to go on the 91st day. Okay. Law Dogs will be open. I've already talked to the guy across the street where I want to put the business. And he says, I'm open to negotiations. Well, you don't understand. I like my comfort zone. Okay. I stay home a lot, and I did that before COVID. Okay. And because when I'm in my comfort zone, that's when my creativity and my juices start flowing. And it's just like the first time I talked to Brian Blackmore, I said to Brian, dude, I'm getting ready to do a podcast. And I said, you got to be my co-host. You got to be on the show with me. You are absolutely fascinating. And I kind of felt like when I brought him on, I thought I had my own little Mr. Spock. The only thing he didn't have was the ears, you know. But you got that Nimoy thing going on there. I'm just telling you. But anyway, my creative juices are very important to me. And the other thing I want to tell you about this is I have noticed I've been wearing this now for about a week and a half and getting ridiculed by everybody, and I don't give a. You can say what you want to, you know. He's going to open his third eye. Oh, ain't he funny? So I just tell him it's a skeeter bite. I got bit by a skeeter. It hurts. So, you know, trying not to pick at it. You know, but Greg Release says all we need is love, sweet, sweet love. Read our Bibles and get down on our knees and pray to God, our Lord Jesus Christ. I see nothing wrong with that. I totally endorse that. But I want to tell you something else. If you're so darn religious, Chance, why don't you go to church? You were going to Seventh-day Adventist church. Why aren't you going there now? Well, I don't like I don't like negative energy, okay? But one thing I hate more than negative energy is failure to acknowledge negative energy, because if you don't, how can you move forward if you can't recognize the evil that was behind you? You're going to move forward towards Creator, then how are you going to move forward when you don't know that the evil was behind you? And they don't talk about Satan in the churches. They just don't do it. I've been to several. They don't do it. I go to analyze. And, you know, hey, 2 or more gathered in his name. We're here now. We're our church right now. This is our church. I was on a church call last night about Dr. Will Dodd. And we had, 8 or 9 people on that call. God was in on that call. Sorry about the dogs barking. Nothing I can do about that. The problem is people coming in and out of the house. I get no respect. My grandson comes in and out. Tim comes in and out. It's not. He's just doing a show. He's just doing an internet thing. It ain't that important. You get it. Okay. So anyway, will we be exchanging Zims at the same place as other currencies? The answer would be no, unless you are going to a redemption center. If you are going to a bank or a wealth management center, no. If you're going
Remember,
and 1.7% of the people will be going to a redemption center. The rest of you are going to run screaming, crying, and whining to the bank saying, give me my money, gives me my money. I got to have my money. I needs to pay my bills. I get it. Okay. They fight in the tunnels, don't they? Oh yeah, Ladybug. They fight in the tunnels. And can they change sides? Yes. There have been a lot of evil entities that have changed sides. They chose life instead of being extinct. Even clones and NPCs have chosen to switch sides. So keep that in mind, okay? Let's see what else is going on. Betty Murphy's from Canada. Hi, good to see you, Betty. Yes, that's right. Wyatt is right. He says, if you don't have a humanitarian project, you will be offered the opportunity to invest in one at the exchange. And if you just want to do that and give them your 20% out of your Zim, do it. And then you can walk away from it and you don't have the headaches. Myself, personally, I want to see the joy in somebody's face when I tell them I'm working for a foundation and I can help you. And I want to see the joy in their face. That's what I want to see. I want to see the appreciation. That is the payment that I need. Okay. Here's Pixie Hall talking about the ice cream trucks, and she's right. And here's let's see. I'm looking down here. Oh my gosh, that's not my cousin, is it? Kathy, if you're on here, say hi BP, okay? If my cousin Kathy's on here, I think she is. Greg says our frequency will change very soon from nuclear grid to the quantum system. This will heal us all too. That's exactly right. The quantum system and the med beds are part of an extensive biofeedback mechanism generated by, you ready for this? Ourselves, our God spark. Praying for everyone. Yes, I am too. I love you.
All. But did you know that your avatar changes too?
Believe I'm aware of that.
Yeah, when you're in a higher frequency soup, like if you can imagine, you start to pull more data on your previous life experiences or your past incarnations, your face is going to change dramatically, especially when you're outside and you're not anchored so much like an ice cube down here. But yes, that does happen. That is a real thing. That does. Which that excites the heck out of me.
Yeah, I get it. Judy, that is absolutely correct what you said. Okay, if you choose to go back to 30, that's fine. Okay. If your husband chooses to be where he is, then you're married to a 60-year-old man, and that's fine too. It's all good, except for the marriage contract will be nullified with Nasara Gasara. So keep that in mind. You talked about any more about Colorado. Do you have any more details as to what this go down? Flip election fraud. Let me tell you about Colorado. I'm going to give it to you in a lump sum. I'm going to give it to you in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
it's not only going to flip to red, it's going to flip to Creator. It's going to flip to Jesus. It's going to flip to God. The whole state, a lot of those people are going to be taken off planet. A lot of them. And I mean a lot. And one day you're going to wake up, and if you've never seen the movie The Ascension, okay, that's what you need to go watch. You need to go watch the movie The Ascension, because you're going to be walking with somebody that you know, and all of a sudden you're going to turn around, they're going to be gone. Well, she was a friend of mine, but sometimes she could be really mean. Well, guess what? You're called out of here. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Go watch the movie called Ascension. And there's going to be a positive ascension, and there's going to be a negative ascension. Remember, for every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. Okay? So remember that. Okay? And Colorado is probably going to listen. Colorado is an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful state, and to be poisoned by all the liberals and the evil SOBs that are there, it's time to go, guys. Okay, pack your bags or not. It doesn't matter if you're wearing clothes or not. You're gone. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, Colorado is going to have a lot of property for sale. So, after that happens, guys, get ready. There's a train coming. It's called the Trump train, okay? And we're on board the Trump train. And say whatever you want about Trump, all you Trump haters, with the Trump derangement syndrome. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to tell you what. I get peaks. I get little glimpses at night when I'm sleeping, especially since I've been doing this. I've been getting little messages. Oh my God, I got a message from a dead wife. Okay, my first wife died, and we were not together very long, and I got a message from her the other day, and it was pretty weird. I thought, why do you even want to talk to me, even on the other side of the realm? Why would you do that? But this shows me what this is doing. And then again, I've been listening to a lot of vibrations. I've been listening to a lot of frequencies. YouTube's got some wonderful vibrations, and I've been putting some of them on my Facebook page. So if you want to go through and look that. Carly Simon's song, You're So Vain, Wyatt, was written about her ex-lover, which was the guy that played Clyde Barrow, the actor that played Clyde Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde. What was his name, Doc?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Warren Beatty. So Carly Simon wrote that about Warren Beatty, and he was a vain son of a buck. I've heard stories. Okay, yeah. So get ready, Colorado, because it's one day you're going to wake up and it's going to be a whole new world in Colorado. Yes, friends can go into the med bed too, not just family. Yes, that is right. Ann is here. Oh, Ann left. Darn it, Ann. We're getting ready to do our final thoughts. I'm seeing if there's any more questions here, and if also please join Dr. Wiedemann on Monday night on his show, Health. What is it? Health what?
The Wellness Revolution.
Wellness Revolution with Dr. Robert Wiedemann and his partner, and it's a good show. I haven't had time to even watch my favorite Star Trek episode, so and I love Star Trek, by the way. Okay, I'm a Trekkie. Okay, get the ears and everything. Okay, let's see. Ruby Miner is from Perth, Australia. Thank you, Ruby, for joining us. I really appreciate it. Share our link too, please. And I'm trying to think of the songs that I mentioned. Let's see. For What It's Worth, Thunder Island for Epstein Island. And what was the other song that I mentioned? Doc?
Tobacco Road.
Tobacco Road. Bring
By the young
Dynamite.
the national
Yep.
teams.
Nashville Teens, Tobacco Road. Go look them up and listen and look up the words. Okay. Yes, my hair is getting darker. Go Blonde Chance. Okay, we already covered that. Let's see. People, I have gotten laughed at when redemptions. When I say a redemption center, people say there's no such thing. It is strictly a bank. Well, they found out banks don't do them. Yeah, we know that. Okay. It's also, let's see. Thank you, PhD Bry. She says, you're also awesome. Can we do space travel after RV? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm planning on doing a George Reeves, 1, 2, 3 steps and going like that,
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's dependent on your perception. But if you're wanting more interstellar, you're literally removing a lot of things that no longer matter, right? In order to be interstellar, do you need the idea of multiple currencies? That would be a no. You're joining an interstellar galactic community. You need to be able to physically buy products if you travel to another destination, another spaceport. So what is it? Universal credits. So that means you have to shift consciously and bypass a lot of things, or you choose a sweet spot where you're like, okay, I understand what he's saying, so let me think about this. I visualize I'm in a time period where we're transitioning to meet our galactic neighbors, and then the whole structure changes, right? That also means the whole political system gets abolished. You're like, wait, what? What do you mean abolished? You're saying no more Democrats, no more Republicans? It will be something like one unified concept, like maybe a republic, but it will not necessarily be that. It'd be like a councilship, councilmen, women ship, or something like that, where it's just you have delegates that gather together that are in charge of sectors on your planet, and then they figure out problems if there are big problems. If not, they just give a general report of this is what's happening with our economics, with our distribution of goods and whatnot. That's their job. And their job is the stewardship of that sector, the people. That's how it goes. So you need to change your ideas. That means there will be no more presidencies. There'll probably be kings and queens still, but they won't have any real power. They're just
Okay. Brian, you hit upon something that's very important. Okay. Where you won't need money. There was a movie Christopher Reeve was in. It's called Time After Time, where he fell in love with a 90-year-old woman in his time, but in actuality, they fell in love when 50 years prior, and he had to figure out a way to get there. And he actually changed his vibration. He changed his way of thinking. He changed his placement in the timeline by using his head and his heart. And he went back in time, and only until he saw something from the future did he lose that concentration. Otherwise, he could have stayed there. Okay? And that's what's going to happen. That's a very important thing that you said there that most people never picked up on. When you want to do something, and if you want to go somewhere, and if your faith and your vibration and your frequency is controlled enough, you will be able to do it somewhere in time. It wasn't time after time. It was somewhere in time. That's exactly right, Doc. Now, if you want to know about somebody who he loved this woman. He loved this woman. And she said to him in the movie, come back to me. She says, come back to me. And why would an old woman? And then he researched and found out who she was. And then he says, I have to meet her. But he already met her. It was a time paradox. But He wanted that relationship so bad. It was love. He used the love vibration to go back in time. Study that movie. That shows some of the infinite possibilities you have as a human being with a heart and a soul. Okay, listen, we have gone over, and I was planning on getting done at 8:30. But listen, I'm gonna open up things now for final thoughts. Doc G, let's have your final thoughts, brother.
Final thoughts. Well, as we sit here and we wait for the RV, as we sit and wait and contemplate for any other monies coming in, do yourself a favor and reach out to the people around you that need the help the most. We try to help communities. We try to help. We try to help churches, and the people that need the help the most are the ones that need it now. If we're surviving, just paying our bills, they're barely surviving. So please think of them at all times, even between the holidays and these times, because it lets it slip through. And anything you can do to help these communities or churches or any type of gathering like that, please do.
Yeah, amen, brother. I appreciate that. Fascinating, Brian. What do you got for your final thoughts tonight, brother?
And to continue off of what Doc said, if you cannot provide any physical actionary value, that's okay too. Use the metaphysical energy. It has, if not greater value than the physical side. You just send a statement like a prayer. It is a prayer, and you say, hey, guides of all the other guides throughout creation, knock on these knuckleheads' doors, activate them, allow with grace, guidance, respect, and love, tough love especially, to wake them, jog them out of their fog, to bring a higher vibrational outcome on their behalf. You send that out. That's it. Do it every single day. And basically, all the other guides of these fellow humans, they're going to knock on their door. They're going to give them ideas, and they'll keep doing it. And then you may notice one or two aren't struggling anymore. And then you can walk up to them and you can say, how did you change your circumstances? And if they say, I got a lot of good ideas and I didn't wait and sit on them. That's it. You could do it for each other too. That's all.
That's very, very powerful. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was down in South working for somebody. I can't remember who it was, 35 years ago. And I don't even know what I was doing. And I stayed in this little town in Kentucky. No, not Kentucky. It might have been in West Virginia. And it was just a dying S-hole town. I mean, it was just terrible. And there was a guy begging outside the Aldi store. And I said, I gave him $5 or $10 or whatever I gave him. And I said, you can't find a job? No, there's no jobs. I said, you got to make your own job. And he says, what? He says, yeah, you can make your own job. I said, you're sitting right here. You're watching people walk out the door struggling with their groceries, all the senior citizens. They'd be glad to give you $1 to load the stuff into the car. Just go get an agreement from the store manager that you're allowed to be on the premises and take donations. Okay? And he goes, that's a really good idea. I said, get yourself cleaned up and come back and talk to store manager and come here every day. And I said, before you know it, you'll have some money and you'll be able to do something with your family. Oh, that'd be great. He says, I'm going to follow your advice. Never heard from the guy again. Never. Till 7 years went by. 7 years. I had already had my store in Muscatine. So this is a while ago. This is probably 10 years ago. Okay. And he called me out of the clear blue sky. Is this Chance? I said, yeah. He says, you're the guitar guy. I said, yeah, that's me. He goes, I don't know if you're going to remember me or not, but I was begging outside of Aldi's at whatever town it was. I gotta remember what town it was. It was someplace in West Virginia, I'm pretty sure. And he says, you told me what to do to make some money. And I said, yeah, that sounds like me. That's, sticking my nose in someplace where it don't belong. He says, well, it's a damn good thing you did, because he says, I got 7 stores and I got everybody in my family working for me. And he says, I have 7 stores now. And we've got these little smocks that we wear so everybody will know, and they'll be glad to hand us a buck or two. We're making money hand over fist. My family has money. I have money. The Digitar Boulevard's rate, I'll get to that in a minute. But he says, if you hadn't told me that, it wouldn't have motivated me to go out and do this. 7 stores at that time. He's probably got 15 by now. Okay. Let's go back to the Boulevard. The Boulevard rate is over 40 cents. I can't tell you the exact number because I told the guy I wouldn't say, but it was over 40 cents, but it sure wasn't $1. So be careful with, if you're dealing with a bank. Tell them you want $1 for dollar. They'll make their spread on their handling fee.
So was there intel tonight?
Yeah, that's right. Let's give the intel right now. It's very short. It's very sweet. And hang on. Here it is. Bank says everything to start August 28th to September 1st. Something massive is happening on the 28th. What that is right now, I don't know what it is. Currency revaluation update at 10 a.m. Iraq is to declare its sovereignty tonight. Opening up our currency exchange appointments to this weekend. Green light tomorrow. Thursday, U.S. troops are pulling out of Iraq today. U.S. troops have already pulled out. They have been done. So this is old news. I think this thing is on fire. Nothing can stop what's getting ready to happen, guys. So my final thought for tonight is, the reason I told the story about the guy at Aldi's was just a little bit of inspiration can change your life, just like Brian was saying. Okay? When you're down so low and you don't know where your next dollar to, and I've been there, okay, many times, you've got to use what's inside of you and think and let your spiritual side come out and give up and give up your consciousness and go into your unconscious, your subconscious. Okay? You've got to find the love spot in your heart. If you don't find that, you're going to be lost for the rest of your life. Only thing I can tell you is what we need is love. All you need is love. And I love you all. I love you, Doc G. I love you, Fascinating Brian. Love you, Wyatt, wherever you are. Love all you people over here in the comments. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. I'm sorry we went so late. God bless y'all. We'll see you next week right here on Chance's Chat on Hamilton Radio 1. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.